Lost Cause Garage. Okay, so doing some garage sailing, and I picked up this sweet compressor, little compressor, and I had this. Where on earth is it? This airbrush. Got it from my brother like 30 years ago. Never used it. I mean, I basically knew how it worked, but never had a little compressor, so I got this compressor. And came with this. This was a little broken. But so I put a new gauge on it, new fittings, and then I fixed the switch. It was just missing the screws. So the guy had just taped it up. But works. And it so the way it works is you fire it up and you press this little button, and there's a cup that attaches right here. You can either use the cup or a little too close. You can either use the cup, or this can go like this. And I was just spraying some of this airbrush formulated fabric paint. Pretty cool. So I'm going to be playing with that. That's cool. And then I got these sweet jumper cables, and they were filthy. They were all black, and I just finished cleaning them. So that's good. Oh, and then I got this table. And what I like about it, it's really narrow, and so I'm going to replace this table with this table. And yeah, oh, and then one other thing, I got this, I love this thing. I love this old cabinet. I think this probably needs a spring. This one's got a nice spring. But and so I'm kind of moving things around to get it fit. But yeah, Lost Cause Garage. And of course I can't resist. I got some more stuff like this. Hardware. None of which I really needed, but I have an addiction, obviously. So, Lost Cause. Oh, Cause Garage. Yes, so it's here. My new baby. This is a 1968 Honda CB350, and it is in a surprisingly good shape for a 52-year-old motorcycle. Little pitting, a little rusting. I'm going to clean that up over the winter. And we put new tires on. That's probably one of the first things. And then I'm going to tighten this up. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little bit of play in those bushings. I had this bike, this same model, when I was going to Penn State Allentown, and it was great. Ran really well, as does this one. And I had the same issue with these bushings, so I'll replace those. And I think this is a steering dampener. I'm not sure what this is really. But I'll figure out what that is and, deal with it. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. Good winter project. Lost Cause Garage. Welcome back. So, I've been working on the shop. Oops. Und. I got this gizmo here right above my fantastic switches. And what this is for the air compressor. It's takes out water. This is a water filter. And this is oils the tools. But the problem is all of my connections are 1/4 inch, and this is 1/2 inch. And I didn't even notice it when I purchased it, but now I've installed it. So I bought adapters, and I ordered 2, and I got 3. And then what else have we done? I've been working on the motorbike, and I put it up on the car lift. A little sketchy, but what are you going to do? And I just took off the shifter, which is over here. And I did that because there's so much slop in it that it's a little hard to find neutral. And it's particularly hard to find neutral because the neutral... Oh, shit, I left the ignition on. Now you can see the neutral. The neutral switch is a little sketchy and doesn't always work. So I got a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? And we're about to get Mexican food. So, yeah, I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to be cleaning this bike up. I got some steel wool coming and other stuff. And, yeah. Lost Cause Garage. Lost Cause Garage. All right, so I'm just poking around trying to figure everything out. And the first thing I'm going to work on is this is my shifter. And it's got some slop. In other words, there's some play here in this one fitting. And so I'm not sure how I'm going to fix it, but I might weld it and then re-drill it to the proper size. And it's just old, you know, this thing's just worn out. So now I'm working on that. These are the covers for the valve adjustments. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's very small, but there's an index line right there, a little tick to the right. And on this side, the tick is also to the right. On the internet, it says that this tick is supposed to be away from the spark plug, and the same as on the other side. And so I think it is adjusted incorrectly. All it does is detune the motorcycle, right? So then the engine just can't run full song. I mean, it seems to be running fairly well. I don't know what it would like, but so I may rotate that and then adjust the valves. And the way you adjust the valves is you take these little covers off. So the valve is here. This is the exhaust valve. This is the intake valve, and these are the adjusters. What would this be? This is a tachometer, and so it must spin on the camshaft. Calculate the rotations. All right, then over here, same thing. And here the tick mark is to the right and also to the right. So it could be just that the 68 is different or that both sides are wrong. That's also possible. And then these are the points. And you got points, one for each side. And they look pretty good. I think they look pretty recent. And then at some point, I'm going to take off this cover and this cover to try to fix the neutral light. See, this green light here is the neutral light. And the problem is it's either always on or not on. It's just intermittent. It's not working properly. And then, what do we got here? So anyway, I think I might have left the ignition on or something because it ain't working. So I'm gonna keep going, take it apart little by little, clean it up. Lost Cause. Welcome back to Lost Cause Garage. So I removed this plate, and this allows you, and give you some orientation there. This allows you to orient the engine to top dead center, which would be right here, and you wouldn't line it up. But I just adjusted the cam chain, and that is 90 degrees off. And here's the reference point. So, and the way you do that is you just set the engine here, and you unscrew this bolt right there. Whoops, can you even see that? Right there. Just unscrew it, put it back down, and what it does is it resets the spring in there. All right. And now I'm going to move the engine back to top dead center. on the compression stroke. Technically, you're not supposed to run the engine backwards, but I did do it just because. Take it back this way. Just taking it back 90 degrees, right about bar. Oops. And it tends to want to keep going. Then I'm just going to tie it off. Okay. I got the valves loose. Here's the adjusters for the valves. This is the intake and exhaust. And I was right that this one is adjusted way off. Ooh, let's go this way. This arrow should be pointing that way, or this index mark. It should be pointing away from the spark plug. So that was wrong. And now, see if we can see the spark. See if we can see the valve. Yeah, there's the valve. Oh, let's hang him up here. See, there's the valve right there. It's got a little movement. So I'm going to get a feeler gauge, and it's 2,000ths and 4,000ths, or 3,000ths and 5,000ths, which is what I'm going to do. Rather be a little loose than a little tight. So loose is clacky, but tight, particularly exhaust valves, you can burn the valve. All right, so what am I doing here? See, you won't be able to see this, but on this feeler gauge, I'm looking for 0.00. 0.005. There's 0.07. There's 0.09. I'm going to have it. But I have lots of these, so of course, you know me. I have lots of these. That's nice and thin. That's great. This one has no marking on it. Probably does, but I can't see it. Blind as a mole. Yeah, if it's on there, I can't read it. Alright, let me try getting another feeler gauge, and we'll go back. Alright, so I don't know if you can see in there, but that is the valve and the rocker. And right, I'm going to put my 3,000ths feeler gauge, called it feeler gauge for a reason, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little snug, but I think that's really good for the intake valve. Alright, I'm going to move over and see what you do is you undo the lock nut, and then you're adjusting the valves by turning this. See, there's all the way down. And this one I'm going to go 5,000, so 0.005 each. Rock and roll. Alright, lost call. Lost call. Alright. So, you adjusted the valves and the cam chain. Seems like it's kind of fallen off at the higher revs. But it's not warmed up. And I don't even think the choke works. Here's the choke. Chokey. Which way is choke? Oh, it says choke is open, closed. Open, closed. But it's cool, man. I did flip the indexes around on the exhaust adjusters, exhaust valve adjusters. Yeah, because that's what the internet told me to do. Oh, look at that. I got the gas off. That could have been a problem. Lost cause. What's going on? Oh, I'm back at the Honda CB350 1968, and I'm getting serious backfiring, which I kind of like, but it's really not so great. And so what I'm going to do is check the ignition timing. And so what you do is you take off this cover and you set it on the compression stroke to left fire, right? Which is LF right there. And most bikes, there'd be a little notch there. On mine, there's just a little pointer. But, all right, then you go up here, you hook up your test light to the bottom of this point strap, actually the little nut, and then ground the test light. I don't actually know if my test light works. But, now, let's see, my screwdriver's too big. It is a little too big. Alright, gotta get another screwdriver. But I'm going to just adjust these points so they just come on when we're on that. It's clearly, I think that's why it's backfiring and that the timing's off. I'll be right back. That was a little spooky. I was able to crack this one, and this one to set the points, but this one was unbelievably tight. And they sell a kit that you convert these to Allen nuts, bolts, Allen bolts, which I think I'm going to do because that, I mean, if you had to do that on the road, I don't think I could have done it. So how did I do it, you ask? I used this. Oh, I used my impact driver with a regular slotted bit, and it worked. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timing. Okay, so I had to fix my test light, which is now lit. And now I'm about to set the timing. There it is. That's one. See there, it's wow, it's right on. All right. And it was really off. Oops. Should turn off the bike. And then just snug that down. I mean, you don't have to do freaking 500 foot-pounds. That was crazy tight. Anyway, I'm going to do that to the other side. And be done. Let's go. I think I got it. This is for the right bank. So as it goes to that mark, I don't know if you can see the light. Oh, let's pull it back. Alright. So right when it hits the mark, the light goes on. That's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, you could spend the rest of your life. Okay. Let's go check the other one and then mold it. The shifter for the Honda CB350, and it had a whole bunch of slop here in this, what used to be the hole for this pin, and so instead of buying a new one, I just welded it up and I'm going to re-drill it. Yeah, so the goal was to get the slop out of the shifter, and I did it.
Don't
I was trying to get the slop out of the shifter, and so I welded this hole that's in here and re-drilled it, actually this hole. And sure enough, that really helped. And it's going to be a lot easier to find neutral. And now I'm going to take this cover off and see if I can repair the neutral light, which just stays on the cluster up there. So check this out. This was the inside of the clutch cable door, or cable. I don't know if that was a mouse. Probably was a mouse. But anyway, look at that. I'm wondering if this is the neutral switch. Check it out. Anyway, gonna clean this up. Let's go. Hey, so this is one of my halogen lights I got at a garage sale. I was bragging about how well they work. But this one kept shorting the circuit. I don't know if you can see right there, but it looks like it burned through the wire. So I snipped it, and I'm gonna look in my box of wire. Look at that. Put some of that in there. Is it worth fixing? Hell yeah! Hell yeah. Let's go. I'm splicing in a piece of wire and using these freaking awesome. They're like shrink tubes, but they have a solder component inside. So what you do is you just heat them up, and it shrink tubes it, but it also solders it. I think that's solder. Pretty awesome, watertight, and soldered. Let's call.